Good evening and welcome to the program. This is the Limelight and my name is Tim Apollo. Now, for the last 2 weeks, public debate rotated around privileges of retired public servants and politicians after the Speaker of Parliament, Right Honorable Anita Among, handed over 5 luxurious cars to retired speakers. But this comes at a time when citizens have also been questioning the process of approval of the supplementary budget, which was passed 3 weeks ago, a supplementary budget of 5.2 trillion Ugandan shillings, with claims of bribery and corruption shrouding the whole matter. Now we need to ask the experts about what this means at this particular point in time, matters of governance and accountability. We connect with the Executive Director for Anti-Corruption Coalition Uganda, Mr. Gaba Maron, and pick his opinion on what these 2 incidents mean. Let me connect with Maron Agaba. You are live on Sol TV. Tell us, from these 2 incidents, the handover of 5 luxurious vehicles to retired speakers amounting to around 3 billion Ugandan shillings and the claims of bribery in Parliament. Is there a cause for concern in citizens or not?
I think one challenge we have as a country is that we have failed to prioritize, and that is really a very big challenge that we need to address. That we have so many needs as a country, but we have really failed to prioritize. I know that giving former speakers vehicles, they're entitled to them, and the law was passed where they have their emoluments. But when you look at the caliber of people that were being given these vehicles, then people who are, first of all, not doing bad off, and some of them are still in active services, in active service of government. Some of them have served in so many offices as deputy speakers, as speakers, so they are entitled to several privileges. And when you look at the money we are spending, I think close to 3 billion we spent on purchase of these vehicles, you find that we're not getting our priorities right. People each and every day in Kampala, they are crying about potholes. And indeed, potholes are a very big challenge. We don't have medicine in our health facilities, and mothers are dying. When you look at some of the schools that have been moving across the country, some of the schools are really in a very, very bad shape. They are dilapidated. You go to some of them and you cannot believe that these are schools that are housing our what? That are housing our children. So, given all those challenges and the fact that our economy is not working well, I mean, was this the most important investment that we could make as a country? My answer would be no. So we really need to address our priorities as a country and put resources in things that are quite important. Of course, I know that people have several privileges. Even the judicial officers have privileges, including the vehicles, and some of them maintaining their salaries up to 100% or 80% when they retire. But you see, once you do that for a small set of people, without looking at it comprehensively, you're going to have problems. Right now, when you look at the issue of arts, rather sciences, we have arts employees in government, even teachers who are complaining of very low pay. And actually the level of motivation is quite low. Most of them are not working because, I mean, imagine a teacher, you are sitting in the same classroom, a science teacher is earning 4 million and you're an arts teacher, you are earning 900,000. I think in a way it looks a little bit unfair. So I think as a country we need to have a comprehensive framework of how we determine emoluments, like salaries and pension and entitlements. And we have been suggesting that the government should set up a comprehensive salary review commission that would look at all these different agencies and provide a kind of comprehensive framework. Find an engineer in a parastatal like earning 10, 15 million, you go in a government engineer is earning 34 million. So the discrepancies are quite high. So we really need a comprehensive salary review commission to look at all salaries and emoluments and benefits and come up with a plan that is equitable to each and every person who is serving this country. The issue of Parliament determining its own emoluments has been talked about and even has been in court. Parliament shouldn't have the right to determine its own pay. Otherwise, that right is being misused, like we have seen it being misused. Members of Parliament increasing their salaries and pay and emoluments in funny ways. So we really need to have an independent body that can look at the entire government and determine the emoluments. So at the end of it all, what we are seeing now is greed, is self-entitlement, each and everyone grabbing what they can grab, and then the majority of Ugandans suffering.
Well, Marlon, again, we would want to know from you, from these two particular incidents, you as watchdogs in the battle against corruption, do you find anything wrong with privileges and emoluments given to retired public officers or not? And what do you think is wrong with retired public servants and politicians being given some facilitation to have better lives?
Of course, the claims of bribery at Parliament, they are not new. They have been there, and it also explains how low our Parliament has gone. Previously, there have been those claims which have been true. There are some instances where they have received money and they have not said they have received money, but their evidence is here. There is anecdotal information to show that they have received money illegally. But you see, that points to a much bigger leadership problem that we have in this country, that people think that they should use the offices they have for their own aggrandizement, for their own, they have this feeling of self-entitlement that I'm in this office, I'm supposed to get far and over above what I should be getting legally. And of course, it points to the whole problem of also commercialization of our politics, that we have commercialized the politics, that a member of Parliament is going to invest 1 billion to win that office. But when you look at their entire salary for 5 years, it is below 2 billion, maybe 1.8 billion. So where will they get the rest of the money? And why is it so lucrative? It's lucrative because of all these funny schemes and dubious deals that are coming up. So it is really a very big problem at the leadership. If you're saying members of Parliament were bribed, who bribed them? Who can bribe a member of Parliament? Somebody perhaps higher in government who is also benefiting from the same scheme. So it points to the whole bigger problem of corruption that we have. It points to syndicated corruption. It points to corruption that is planned and budgeted and is approved. It really points to a much bigger problem that we need to address in this country. And that's the problem of leadership. We really need to address the problem of leadership, but also the problem that we have created of commercialization of our politics. Once people come to Parliament as a scheme for making money, once people see Parliament as an opportunity where they can make good money and quick money, then you're going to continue having those problems.
Well, Marvin, in your opinion, what do you think may be recommendations for the whole government after these claims of extravagance in how money is spent? What may be your recommendations to government in the future to avoid such incidents happening?
Issue number one, we need a salary review commission, which can be a permanent or semi-permanent commission that looks at emoluments and entitlements of different people, both serving and maybe those who have left service, and then harmonize them across board and provide some level of legal framework that addresses that. Once we don't have that commission, then we are going to have challenges. If each and every agency, each and every ministry will have its own kind of approach. We need one harmonized salary and review commission that will look at the different agencies and come up with standards. Two, I think as a country we really need to have discipline. We need to have financial discipline in terms of where we put our resources. I think we have failed at prioritization. Sometimes you don't see who is really taking leadership, because sometimes the heads of these institutions that are really perpetuating these forms of financial indiscipline. We need to have financial discipline, and I think the president, as the chief accounting officer of this country, really needs to take charge in terms of directing the priorities as a country. But also citizens can demand really for good services, they can demand for value, and I have seen that on Twitter, people have been up in arms on why we should buy vehicles for people who are still serving in government. So really citizens can also come up and demand for quality. I have seen citizens in Kampala demanding for better roads, really. Why should you buy vehicles of billions to people who are already not doing badly when we have a lot of potholes in Kampala, for instance? So I think also citizens can come up and demand. But you see, all that we address only to a certain extent. Once you don't deal with the bigger problem, which is the problem we have in our country, then you may not solve these small problems. It's like having a cancer and you're treating it with painkillers. They may give you relief for a short time, but the bigger problem remains and it will consume you. So whether you withdraw the cars or investigate corruption here and there, but once you don't deal with the bigger moral problem, as shown or seen through the corruption we are seeing, then you will not address the problem.
Finally, from you, Marlon, what are you doing as civil society organizations and all those organizations that are doing the watchdog role in this fight against graft and extravagance in government systems?
Our mandate when it comes to issues of corruption is usually limited to doing research and advising government in terms of alternative policy. We do capacity building for citizens and other non-state actors. We do community education and sensitization. We do media engagements. We do a lot of that because our mandate doesn't extend to arresting and prosecuting. Our mandate is limited to that, to engaging people, engaging stakeholders, and creating an environment where we can have a discussion, but also make alternative policy recommendations to government in terms of what can be done. And that we are doing. Retirement privileges are provided for, especially in public service. They are provided for. We have gratuity, we have pension and other emoluments. When you look at the judiciary, which is a special case where they continue earning, some of them 100% of their salaries when they leave, some I think around 80%. I think it was meant to cushion them against challenges they face when they retire. Because judicial officers who are approaching retirement were quite vulnerable. Have been earning salary and privileges. You are about to retire, maybe 5 years retirement, you start panicking. How will I survive when I retire? And it made them vulnerable to being bribed or to corruption. So that's what the whole discussion came up that let us cushion them in their retirement and give them their full privileges. The same as former presidents or speakers or vice presidents, they are given those privileges as a cushion for them when they retire, which for me I must say it's a good scheme, because when leaders serve the country diligently and they retire, there should be an opportunity for them to live a good life until they exit this world. So for me that really is okay, it's not the problem, but the problem is when one person is getting 4 privileges. Some of them are quite young and are still serving. There's no need to give somebody benefits of retirement when they're still serving. That is issue number 1. Issue number 2, why should someone get benefits from 2 or 3 positions they have held before? They should get from 1. So I think when we address those issues, that would be okay. We really solve the problem. You get it's like having a former judge, but who has also served in another office and is getting retirement benefits of a judge and also maybe of a speaker, whatever. It becomes completely unfair. So we need to address that we have one harmonized way of paying those emoluments. Of course, in terms of investigations, we know that at Parliament, several cases that have come up and have never been investigated. But we hope maybe in the future there will be mechanisms of investigating these cases and we will really have a comprehensive investigation of the corruption that has been going on. Of course, in the case of the of the procurement of the vehicles, there's nothing to investigate there because, like I said, they are entitled to receive them. But the only issue is it the biggest priority? Two, why are people already serving, who are already facilitated in terms of vehicles, why are they receiving vehicles again? And three, if somebody has held 2 or 3 positions that attract such benefits, why can they only receive from one? For purposes of benefiting other people in other sectors that really need services.
Well, thank you so much, Marlon Agaba, the Executive Director for Anti-Corruption Coalition Uganda. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for those insightful opinions. And let's hope things will change and the citizens will be really get the service they deserve. Thank you so much, our viewers. Let's catch up next Friday. It's been the Limelight Christmas edition. I can only wish you a Merry Christmas, enjoyable holidays, and Happy New Year from Salt Media.